For the first time since 2019, COD is on the defensive. Pre-order numbers are lagging behind the competition, trailers are getting mass downvoted, and there's this general feel in the air that COD is in trouble, but not for the reasons you think. Now, they recently announced, due to fan backlash, that the carry forward skin system will not be returning in this year's COD, which is nice. But there's a deeper issue that they conveniently did not talk about. Not a single word. And that silence is deafening. You see, there's a rot that's been eating away at the heart and soul of Call of Duty for 6 years now. Something that's taken root and has led to a player base that sorta had enough. There's no excitement for BO7 because we already know what the game is gonna be. It's gonna be the same sweatfest as the last few years. Same disbanding lobbies and same SBMM dragging us through the mud every time we do well. But to really understand how we got to this point, the absolute low point of hype for a new COD game, we need to rewind the clock, like way back. Let's talk about how this franchise went from being the social FPS of its era to the disconnected, sweaty algorithm that it is now. You remember Medal of Honor? Back in the day, that was the big military shooter. And two guys, Jason West and Vince Zampella, were part of that franchise before they pieced out and formed Infinity Ward. These guys built COD. The first few games, solid. But then they dropped Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, and that was the spark that lit up the golden age of COD. The multiplayer setup in COD 4, it was the chef's kiss perfection. When you hit matchmaking, it searched for a lobby with players who had a similar connection, maybe a few similar stats, but nothing too crazy. Just good, clean matchmaking. And once you were in that lobby, you stayed in that lobby. You saw their ranks, their clan tags, their prestige icons. You voted on the next map. You made classes while talking smack on the mic. There was a vibe. There was a community aspect to this game. The matches themselves, perfection. You'd get kills, unlock attachments, maybe earn a UAV or that iconic helicopter kill streak that sort of peaked in COD 4. You'd learn how people played. Like, oh, this guy's got a 420 clan tag, that dude's a sniper. This other guy that's using a silenced MP5, well, he's rushing into every building with flashbangs like it's his day job. Now, after that match, you stayed in that same lobby. You talked. You adjusted your class to counter the guy that just wrecked you. Maybe you voted for a better map. Maybe you tried to convince people to vote for the map that you wanted. And then when the next game started, you were already thinking ahead. You were learning the people, not just the map. It felt like a giant couch split screen party with strangers that slowly became rivals, even friends. At the end of a long night, you'd send a couple friend requests and log off, wondering what the next play session would bring. This is what made COD a monster. Not just the guns or the maps, the social glue that held it all together. It was a community machine. But then came the fallout. Vince and Jason fired. Whole mess of drama between them and Activision during the Modern Warfare 2 era. The good MW2 era, not the new one. The magic that they created stayed and rounded out the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation with some of the best shooters of all time, which is why it's called the golden age of COD. But going into the Xbox One and PS4 generation, things started to change. See, veterans like us, the OGs, we'd gotten good. We knew the flow of a COD match, the angles, the tricks, but there was a new generation of players coming in, and they were trying to learn during the jetpack era. Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, these were already tough enough for us to adapt to. Now imagine being new to FPS games during this era and going up against vets who got max prestige in COD 4. Of all the jetpack era games, Black Ops 3 actually pulled it off decently. Jetpacks didn't dominate every fight, and there was room to learn and even have grounded gunfights. Despite the growing pains and struggles of the new player base, the series was doing numbers that 99% of other franchises could only dream about. But this was not enough for the suits. Bigger budgets, more pressure, higher expectations. They needed a system to keep players around. And that is where we enter into skill-based matchmaking. In 2019, Modern Warfare got rebooted. And yeah, the name made it sound like a return to its roots, like COD 4 all over again. But what we got couldn't have been more different. Modern Warfare 2019 introduced the new matchmaking system. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. No more map voting, that's weird, but whatever. Lobbies now disband after every match. What's going on here? Under the hood in the matchmaking algorithm, things were even weirder. You weren't just matched by connection and loose skill anymore. Now, every single thing you did in a match was being tracked. Kills, deaths, kill streaks, where you moved, where you slid, where you died. It was like Big Brother watched you for every single button press on your controller. The first match of 2019 was usually chill. Maybe you dropped 30 kills and felt like a beast. But then the next lobby is tougher, and then tougher again. By match 6 or 7, you're in full demon lobbies getting pre-aimed by slide canceling psychos. And just when you think you're starting to adapt, the lobby disbands. You don't get a rematch, you don't get to build counter classes or read player patterns. You just get kicked to a new lobby with new enemies, new sweat, and no chance to breathe. It's a meat grinder, performance treadmill. And this has been COD's SBMM and social system for the last 6 years. Every year, they tighten the screws, make it more precise, more efficient. Every kill streak you earn, the algorithm takes notes. Every time you slide or peek a corner, that system adjusts the difficulty. For new players, yeah, it helps them survive. They stick around longer. Activision loves that. But the people who built the COD community, the casuals, the grinders, the folks who just want to play a few matches after work without needing a G Fuel sponsorship, we don't really like it anymore. It's exhausting. It's not fun. For years, Activision has just straight up ignored us. Every new game, same system. Slight tweaks, more data tracking. And what are our options? Battlefield 2042? Destiny 2? Nothing else was hitting that special something that makes COD, even at its worst, fun. Eventually they threw us a bone. Here's map voting again. Cool. Thanks for giving us back what you took away, I guess. And please don't do it again. But lobby disbanding and SBMM are still there. They're still ruining the flow. And cracks are finally starting to form. Turns out, COD players had a limit, and Activision was going to learn the hard way. MW2 in 2022, massive player drop-off. It flopped fast. Now, Modern Warfare 3 tried to stop the bleeding, but it was a struggle to keep people interested with an insanely aggressive post-launch content rollout, and honestly, people thought the game was a DLC. Then came Black Ops 6, and on paper, it sounded awesome. The new Omni movement system, sprinting, sliding, diving in any direction. I mean, it sounds cool. But guess what happened? SBMM weaponized that too. The algorithm adjusted instantly. Movement was the meta during this Warzone era, but Black Ops 6 cranked up the dial so high that the demise of the fan base was accelerated. The game got sweatier than it had ever been, and every match felt like a tournament, and people burned out fast. By January, Black Ops 6 saw one of the largest player drop-offs in COD history. Even the weakest Treyarch CODs usually coast to the next release, but not this time. People were done. It didn't matter if there wasn't a good COD competitor. Anything was better than forcing ourselves to keep playing a game that hated when we did well. And here we are. Now it's time for Black Ops 7. Set 10 years after BO2, and with an art direction and an aesthetic that's pretty similar to BO2 and Black Ops 3. They're trying to channel that BO2 and BO3 nostalgia. Really the last great and amazing games that people would consider from the Call of Duty series. But it's not landing, and it's really not even close. Every trailer has been disliked into the ground. Every post has been ratioed. People are over it. Treyarch, Activision, they can't seem to spin this one. The player base is angry, not just disappointed. They're furious. Years of being ignored, told we're wrong about feeling burnt out, treated like we don't know what we want. But here's the poetic part. You know who's in charge of Battlefield right now? Vince Zampella. Yeah, the guy who made COD what it was. And Battlefield 6, it's looking pretty good. Now that open beta had everything that you could remember about early COD. Smooth gameplay, chill vibes, loose SBMM. People were just contributing in different ways. Whether it was a medic, whether it was a sniper, whether it was an assault. The sandbox was back. So now, the guy who helped build COD might be the one who helps end its reign. I'm not gonna sit here and say COD is dead, and they're still selling a lot of copies. But just remember, nothing lasts forever. The start of a decline can eventually end in the death of a franchise. Remember when I mentioned Medal of Honor? Well, that series is dead, and Call of Duty killed it. It wasn't instant, but each new COD release chipped away at the foundations of Medal of Honor until finally it collapsed. And to the COD community, you guys have a voice. And Activision, for the first time since 2019, was forced to listen to it. This victory is ours, but we need to keep this up. We can't just settle back down because then COD continues to be complacent. COD is now on the defensive, and we need to keep the criticism going. Them backtracking on the carry forward skins are nice. Them talking about wanting to respect the time period and setting is good, but they said this about Black Ops 6. They talked a lot about respecting the COD experience, and unless they're also willing to talk about how matchmaking, persistent lobbies, and the community experience is a part of that, then this war isn't over. Like the video and share it if you're ready to keep the momentum up for a better Call of Duty. And tell me what changes you want to see pushed to the leadership of COD.